Hi, Danny. I know you have high standards. You've been a good special teams coach in the league a long time. Has your unit's overall play this year met your standards?
Uh, Obviously not, and we, to be quite honest, we've never met my standards, but, obviously this year, even a little bit more so of not being where we need to be.
Can you explain? And I'm not asking you to throw any player under the bus, obviously, but can you explain specifically where you need to be better? What tops your list of a couple of things?
Well, the list is as long as it always is. We need to be better in everything. We need to coach. I need to coach it better. We need to execute it better. When we have opportunities, we need to be able to take advantage of those opportunities. Um, a lot to work on.
Thank
you. Joe?
Danny, I was surprised when I saw that the Dolphins are last in the NFL in goal percentage. Obviously, Jason has shown he can be much better than that. Where do you stand in terms of how his season has gone and whether or not he can, get this straightened out and be the long-term solution?
Number one, obviously, there's not a doubt in my mind that Jason's going to be fine. We expect him to be, fine and productive and have a good game this week, which is the only thing we're really worried about. And then, on top of that, expect him to get, back to where he's shown and what he's shown he's capable of doing.
Omar?
Danny, how much of this has been a product of new rule changes and not having a return specialist in terms of what's gone on with the return game this season?
I think it's a little bit of everything. Anytime you have flux and you don't have the guy that is going to be out there every single week and how that role falls. There's always going to be some ups and downs. So again, I put that right in in that category of we got a lot to work on. I think we, once we get through this and we expect to go play well on Sunday against a very good team, and then get right to work on getting this back. And you guys said it. My expectations, where I believe we need to be, get back there. To where we are, productive in every single phase. And then I can complain about when we're productive that I want to be even more productive.
Barry?
Since we're not going to have another chance to talk to you until maybe around August 7th, I did want to ask you a long-term question on Waddle and Holland, two established talents, very good college returners. Would your hope be that when these decisions are made during the summer, that these guys will get another opportunity next year to show that they can be good NFL returners, not merely good college returners?
Again, that's way down the line, and you guys have been great all year. It's the National Football League, roster management, game day management, roles on game day. It's a giant puzzle, and how that puzzle fits. We'll have a long time to figure that out. But and to answer your question, I don't have one right now. I know that we're going to have somebody back there that we're going to feel very comfortable with being back there, being the guy.
Thanks.
Joe?
I didn't notice if anybody in the National Football League had a punt return for a touchdown this week, but I thought it was bizarre that entering last week, there had only been 2 punt returns for touchdowns in the entire season for all teams. And I guess, well, first of all, why do you think that is? Why is the punt return touchdown not happening anymore?
Well, there's a to me, there's a litany of reasons. But number one, there are some very good returners in the National Football League. And then you compound that with there's very good awareness of understanding who and what those guys are and what they can do. So there's a lot of things that people are trying to keep the ball away from some of those guys. Some of you see penalties have nullified some things. So there's not a real great answer for you, but I think like anything you see, that'll be something that comes in waves, and it 1 year it'll be a little bit less, than the next year there'll be much more than the norm, and it's always going to seem to balance out.
Do you feel like in general teams are putting more of an emphasis on just a guy who can catch the ball in general, just across the league? As it speaking of a league trend here, are teams focusing more on just catch the ball, as opposed to maybe focusing on, wow, there's a huge difference between a guy who returns it 7 yards per return versus 12, because on the surface 7 to 12 doesn't seem that much.
Right. I think it varies. Believe me, I think if you have and can find and are able to have a dynamic guy back there, you want to have that guy. So again, maybe that's me, but I think around the league, I think if you would ask most coaches, they would love to have and be able to have a guy down there that you feel is a threat every time he steps on the field.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
We have time for one more. We'll go to Barry. Barry, did you still have a question?
Yeah, I'm sorry with that. I think if we just looked at tackles, Danny, for coverage, probably be lazy to conclude who's your best guy just based on tackles. So I want to ask you, first couple names that come to mind when I ask you, who have been your best coverage guys, punt and kickoff returns?
Well, again, I think you look at the normal core guy that, Matt Collins, Clayton Fedulum, Duke Riley, that crew, Ethan Carter, and then we've had some guys be in and out and had some flux, but we feel like it's a solid group, and we need to be good this week because we're facing a very good returner, here to finish off the season. But it's been a good group to work with.
And one last thing, how would you assess Pilardi's play as we enter week 18?
Yeah, again, I think it's been, we've talked about it. We've got to be better in everything. We got to be more consistent, and but again, that goes. You can take that from top to bottom on this season. We need to be better in really everything we do.